You think you have time. Everyone does. At 20, you think you have decades. At 30, you think you have years. At 40, you think you have, well, you stop thinking about it. Because somewhere along the way, thinking about time started to hurt. That's not an accident. That hurt is information, and today we're going to sit with it. This isn't a productivity video. I'm not going to tell you to wake up earlier, batch your tasks, or color code your calendar. This is something harder. This is about the story you've been told about time, and why that story is slowly stealing your life while you nod along and take notes. There are things we learn so early, so quietly, that they stop feeling like beliefs. They start feeling like facts. Time is one of them, and today we unlearn it. Think about the last time you said later. Not to someone else, to yourself. I'll start that project later. I'll have that conversation later. I'll finally live the life I actually want later. Later is a word that sounds responsible. It sounds like planning. It sounds like patience. But most of the time, later is just fear wearing a calendar. Here's what nobody told you. Time feels endless when life is comfortable. When nothing is breaking, when the pain is manageable, when things are fine, the days blur together. Monday becomes Friday, January becomes October, and you look up one day and 3 years are just gone. Not stolen, not wasted in any dramatic way, just absorbed, quietly, into the nothing of comfortable waiting. The most dangerous place to be is not in crisis, it's in comfort, because crisis forces you to move. Comfort lets you believe there's no reason to. You are not running out of time in the way you fear, some sudden cliff, some alarm. You are running out of time the way a candle burns, slowly, warmly, beautifully even, and then it's gone. Someone gave you a checklist. You didn't ask for it. You didn't sign anything, but it was handed to you anyway, by school, by your parents, by every movie where the protagonist has their life together by 30, graduate by this age, settle down by that age, have it figured out by... And here's the cruelest part. Nobody told you the checklist was optional. Nobody sat you down and said, "These are suggestions, written by people who lived in a different century, for a world that no longer exists." They presented it as just the order of things, so you internalized it. And now every time you look at your life, you're not just living it, you're grading it. Are you on track? Are you behind? Did you miss a checkpoint? That low-level anxiety you carry, that feeling of always being slightly late to your own life, that's not your personality. That's not reality. That's a story. And stories can be rewritten. You don't have a deadline. You have a direction. The question was never, am I on time? The question was always, on time for what? At some point, someone figured out that a person who feels behind is a person who buys things. Courses, planners, morning routines, productivity systems with names like the 12-week year or Eat That Frog or Deep Work. Notice what all of it shares. The premise that you are broken, that you are not enough, that time is slipping through your fingers, and this product, this system, this guru will finally fix you. You have been sold urgency. Most urgency is fake. The urgency you feel scrolling at midnight, answering emails at 10 p.m., feeling guilty for sitting still. That urgency was manufactured, installed in you, without your consent. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility now. I want you to think about someone you've lost. A grandparent, a friend, someone who left before you were ready. Think about the last conversation you had with them. Did you know it was the last one? Probably not, because that's how it works. There's no warning, no notification, no calendar invite that says, "This is it, make it count." Time doesn't announce itself, it just passes. Most people fear death, but what they truly fear, if you sit with it long enough, is not death itself, it's the moment before it. The moment of looking back and realizing that you were here, fully here, with all this time, all this capacity, all this life, and you spent most of it waiting. That moment doesn't have to be yours, but it requires a choice. Not a dramatic one, not a grand gesture, just a quiet decision to stop treating your life like a rehearsal. So, what do you actually do? You unlearn 3 things. First, you unlearned the timeline. There is no correct sequence to your life. There is no checkpoint you've missed that can't be circled back to or abandoned entirely for something better. You are not behind. You are exactly where you are, and that is a place you can move from. Second, you unlearn urgency. The next time something feels urgent, ask one question. Who decided this? Not, is this important? Because important things exist. But urgent? Urgent is almost always a feeling, not a fact, and feelings can be examined. Third, you unlearn the idea that time is something to manage. Time is not a resource, it's not a currency, it's not a productivity metric. Time is the material your life is made of. The question is never, how do I fit more in? The question is, what actually matters? And am I giving it the hours it deserves? You think you have time. I thought so too. We all do, until the morning we wake up and realize the life we were planning has mostly already happened. The years we thought we'd use to become who we wanted to be, we spent becoming who was convenient, who was expected, who was safe. But time was never the problem. It was the story we believed about it, that there would be more, that there would be later. This is not a guilt trip. Guilt looks backward. This is the moment you choose to see clearly. The clock doesn't own you. It never did. You gave it that power the moment you believed you had endless time. Every later is a small surrender. Every someday is a quiet goodbye. The clock was never ticking toward something. It was ticking away. So unlearn time. Tomorrow is the first day of the life you have left. So start living it now.